breaking even isn't making money. Okay, so paying the bills is not making money. You cannot stay open if you don't make money. No one will ever care about your business as much as you do. Period. Full stop. No exceptions. The only reason I'm here today and the only reason I have all of these life lessons to pass on to other gym owners is because I was persistent and because I just refused to quit. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Cheer Biz podcast. I'm your host, Dan Cotton, and today we are talking about 5 brutally honest truths about owning a cheer gym. Now, before we get into the episode, make sure you have gone over to Cheer Gym Owners on Facebook, as well as All-Star Cheer Coaches and Owners, and you have joined those groups. We want to see you in them. There's all sorts of great conversation going on. If you want to learn more about Next Gen and what we can do for you, head on over to nextgenowners.com and check everything out we have on our website. That's also where you can book a call or you can sign up to join the academy and be coached by me or one of my staff. Now, let's get into it. So owning a cheer gym is hard. And realistically, there are far more than 5 hard truths that I could dive into here. There's probably more like 100 hard truths, and maybe I'll put together something like that. But these are 5 key lessons that I learned in the first 15 years of running my gym that I want to share with you. And I actually have a bonus one. So I have a number 6 that's maybe not as brutally honest, hard truth, and just a really important truth, I think, to keep in mind as you exit the episode, because I don't want to end on a bad note. And although none of these things are bad, they are brutally honest. And number 1, this is, I think, one of the most important ones for any gym owner to learn, is that your clients are not your friends. Full stop. They're not your friends. They may feel like your friends. You may have clients that are an important part of your life for a period of time. But at the end of the day, when you create a relationship where there is an exchange of a money for a service, you have changed the dichotomy of that relationship to not be a true friendship. Now, can you have a close relationship with people? Yes, absolutely. My daughter goes and spends the night at other athletes' house. Her best friends are all people in the cheer gym. Tori hangs out and talks to some of the parents when she goes and picks Braylee up. And there are some parents that she feels incredibly close to. And there are some parents that I know have our back and probably consider us part of their friend group. But at the end of the day, we're never going to truly be their friend, because there is always going to be a power imbalance where they exchange money for a service that we provide. So in general, clients are not your friends. And I say this because when I first opened my gym, I did not think this way. I truly cared about the clients that we had and the parents that we had. And there was one particular set of parents that I would have actually, in hindsight, said, yes, they paid us, but gosh, they were more my mentor than I was their service provider. I mean, they paid us for cheer, but they mentored me in my early years running the business. When we went through a separation with a business partner, they were there, they heard me out, they gave me advice, and they were really wonderful resources. But ultimately, that is the rarity, and that is something that I wouldn't really want to go back to. And today, my clients they're not my friends. They are people I care for, but they're not truly a friend. Now, are there situations where this can apply? Sure, absolutely there are. There's probably someone listening to this episode right now that is a client of Next Gen, and maybe is even someone that I coach directly, and they're like, wait, Dan, but we're friends. And you know what? They're right. But we were friends before, and we knew each other before, then paid me for a service, and we will be friends after, even if they are not coached by me at some point in time. So that's a little bit different. And I would say it's a little bit different in your cheer gym. So obviously there's exceptions to every single rule, but ultimately speaking, big picture, your clients are not your friends. And it's important to remember that, because we are much more apt to ask friends to give us a pass or let things slide that we shouldn't be doing with our clients. When they're paying us for a service, we should be delivering to the highest possible quality we can. And so we should look at everyone as a client in our business and not as our friend. Number 2 is The people that you give the most to will absolutely take the most. Now, I know this seems kind of obvious, right? You give them the most, so therefore they take the most. I more mean that the people that you give the most to, the people that you give the deal to, the people that you give the free private lessons to, those people will hurt you the worst, and they will continue to demand more and take more often than not. And oftentimes those things really, really hurt because you feel you've given them everything. Is that everyone? No, I've had some clients over the years that I've absolutely helped. I've given much more than I have another client. I've given more to them, and they have not done me dirty, you would say. But I've also had clients who did not do that. Some of you have probably heard me talk at conferences about when we had an employee embezzle over $30,000 from our company. And that employee started out as a parent and could not afford to pay for cheer. And so we said, hey, we'll help you work it off. So why don't you start working our front desk? And they were really good for a while. They did collections, they helped out, they got themselves into more of a position of authority. And we actually passed off running payroll to them. And once that happened, after a little bit, they realized we weren't paying close enough attention, error on our part. And they started paying themselves more money and more money and more money and more money. And we couldn't figure out what was wrong. And they kept telling us everything was fine. And it wasn't until about 8 months later, after they'd embezzled over $30,000, that we learned that they had been paying themselves these exorbitant paychecks. And they were someone that we'd already paid for their child to cheer for us for multiple years and allowed them to work it off when they technically still had a balance, and we still paid them a paycheck and only took a small amount out to get that back because we were trying to take care of them, because we truly did care about this person and thought they were someone worth investing in. And man, did that ever suck, right? Like that, talk about a gut punch. That was someone that really took a lot from us. And I've heard it time and time and time again, those kids that you give scholarships to, or those parents that you help out and you give a pass on their bill and you give them another pass and another pass. And then it gets to the end of the season and they owe you a whole bunch of money, and then they leave and they never pay you back. Okay. When you give people abundance, they will continue to take more. So you allow people to take advantage of you. And I hate that. And it sucks because it jades you to the world and it makes you not want to help people out in those circumstances. You ultimately have to make that call. But I would just remember that when you give to someone, you need to be doing it without contingency. So if I'm going to give to you, I need to have no expectation in return. That's the only way for me to not be hurt. So if I say, I'm going to give this kid a private for free, I have no other expectation than what I get out of it is getting to help this athlete get the layout that I need them to get for the routine, or just the satisfaction of helping out this parent in a particular circumstance. If I choose to sponsor an athlete's season, which you should never do, all I'm getting out of that is that. And I can't even say that all I'm getting out of it is that athlete competing on the team, because it's oftentimes those kids that will quit because they have no skin in the game. So again, the people that you give the most to will oftentimes take the most from you. Number 3 is you can't stay open if you don't make money. Now, again, this seems like a really redundant one. Like, obviously, Dan, gosh, but I talk to gym owner after gym owner after gym owner that isn't truly making money. And you guys, breaking even is not making money. In fact, consider that brutally honest truth number 3, subset 3B, right? Breaking even isn't making money. Okay. So paying the bills is not making money. You cannot stay open if you don't make money. You have to be bringing in additional revenue. You have to be running an actual profitable business that pays your staff, that pays you, that meets all your obligations to your clients, and still has money left over for the business to run and grow and expand. Okay. You have to be running a profitable business or you will not stay open. And if you have no other motivation beyond providing a service to kids, if you want to continue to provide the service, you have to make money. Number 4 is some things are expensive and they are worth every dime you pay. And these are things like an accountant, an attorney, a business coach. Those things are absolutely expensive and they're 100% worth it. You want to pay for an accountant. You just do. I know you're a small business. You can contract someone out. We have a great accountant we can refer you to through NextGen. You want to make sure that you're doing things the right way, because running afoul of Uncle Sam means you're going to owe a bunch of money at a time that it's not great to owe a bunch of money. That's how it always works. And Uncle Sam always wins. Okay. Having a good attorney is incredibly valuable because they are someone who is going to be fighting on your behalf. They're someone who's going to make sure your contracts are set correctly. They're going to send letters and do things and make sure you are doing things legally. You want to have a great banker in your corner, because having a great banker and a great relationship with your bank is going to open up more opportunities for funding and other things like that. And it may be expensive. You may have to pay a higher rate to have access to the best banker. Bankers are probably the cheapest one of the three I'm talking about. And then you want to have a good business coach. And I know that this sounds somewhat self-serving because I am a business coach, but it is absolutely worth its weight in gold. I have a business coach myself. In fact, I technically have two. So you want to make sure that you have great coaches in your corner that are preventing you from making the same mistakes that they did or mistakes that they may see down the road, and they're continuing to grow your knowledge. So having a great business coach is absolutely a no-brainer, and it's expensive, but it's worth every single dime. Number 5, this is a really hard one for gym owners. No one will ever care about your business as much as you do. Period. Full stop. No exceptions. I don't even really need to go into more detail, even though I will, because that is just a fact. No one will ever care as much as you. And that's okay. They don't own the gym. They didn't create the gym. The gym is your baby. Now, you may have coaches or parents or athletes that love your gym with their whole heart. Again, they will never care as much as you. Ultimately, we do want our staff, we want to try and train our staff to care like an owner cares, because that's what's going to help them go the extra mile. That's what's going to be more likely to have the staff members who are taking the garbage out and doing those little extra things, but they're never going to care as much as you do. Even if you train them, they're never going to think exactly like you. Your mindset just shifts once you actually have an ownership. And that's not me saying you should give every coach or someone ownership in your gym, because then you have equity margins and all those different things that impact people psychologically. You just need to know that the reality is that no one's ever going to care for your gym as much as you do. And that's okay. That's okay. Just like no one is ever going to love my children as much as me and Tori do. And that's okay, because they're our children. It would be concerning if someone cared about them more than me. Either I'm dropping the ball on how much I care about my kid, or I have some concern about where that person's motivations lie. Ultimately, I'm going to always care more about my children. I'm going to always care more about my business than any of my employees do. And I have some employees that care a whole lot. The last bonus point is persistence pays off. As long as you don't quit, you are going to keep learning and keep growing and continuing to become more and more dangerous as a business owner, dangerous in your knowledge and what you can accomplish. The more times at bat you have, the more probability you have of hitting a home run. Now, we obviously want to have knowledge and experience and things behind that, so we even increase our likelihood of hitting that home run more. But the people that you see, when you look at me right now, I am a product of simply not quitting and being able to not quit. Okay. If you had met me in the first 3 years of running my gym, and maybe you would have thought I was successful, I had no idea what I was doing. We didn't have a good budget. Our staff was a mess. They did whatever the heck they wanted to do. Like, we didn't know what we were doing because we didn't know what we didn't know. We cared a whole lot, but we had so much to learn. The only reason I'm here today and the only reason I have all of these life lessons to pass on to other gym owners is because I was persistent and because I just refused to quit. You could knock me down and I'd just get right back up and take another punch and get knocked down and get right back up and take another punch. And this time I'd try to last a little bit longer. I'd try and slip the first punch and then I'd get hit by the second one. Those are the things. That persistence is what you need. So if you are a persistent person, then just don't quit. I promise you, you can get there as long as you keep moving forward and keep taking one step every single day. So as you leave the episode, I hope you got some great information out of it. Again, remember to be persistent. Write down these 5 things. Keep them front of mind, make them visual for you. If you need help, reach out to NextGen. That's what we're here for. We are here to support you. We're here to have your back. With that, we'll catch you on the next episode.